I'm so excited for season 2.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Kicking in the Second Half, KISH YZ. We have episode 23 here for you, and we're ready to get this thing started. I'm your host, D, back again. Hey, Hugh, that's my co-host. Say what up to the people, Hugh.
What up, people?
Hey, get closer because I can barely see you. You look like a potato.
Thanks.
Now say it again, bro.
What up, people? Hey, for anyone that's curious what I was talking about at the start of this video, D likes to
Nobody is curious what you were talking about. So let's get straight into the episode. This is episode 23. We're covering what we're going to call the Dirty Dozen. And what we mean by the Dirty Dozen is that's about how many games we have left in the league, Hugh. Am I right?
No.
How many games we got left, bro?
Well, it's different for every team, but yeah, about there.
It's about a dozen left, right? Somewhere
Maybe
in the range
more,
of
less, but yeah.
11 to 13. So an average of 12. That's a dozen, right?
Okay. Well, on average, yeah, I'd probably say around 12. Maybe a decimal point in there, but yeah.
I'm sorry. If y'all are listening to this, give us a like if you like this because it's starting out kind of bad already. Give us a subscribe if you haven't. For every subscriber we have at the end of the month, I'm donating $1 to the Limbs for Life organization at limbsforlife.org if you would like to donate as well. But yeah, this month of April is the Limb Loss Awareness Month. So I just want to remind all the viewers. But yeah, definitely give us a subscribe if you haven't. Hugh, what were you saying earlier? Go ahead, buddy.
About what?
I don't know. We don't know. Once more, put in the comments, everybody. If you're listening to this part of the video, are Cheez-Its flat goldfish? Because that's what's been on this guy's mind for a long time now. We've been talking about it for a week or two. Hugh, are you okay over there?
Nah, bro. No, bro. It's hot as hell in my room. So I got the windows down, but we're having like a crazy windstorm. Stuff's blowing all around my room right now. You don't hear them noises? Holy cow, bro. It's like
I heard the noises.
Outside.
To be honest, I really thought you had a ghost in there, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't see anybody behind you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to shut these blinds. I'll shut these windows. Hold on.
Okay,
bro,
so I'm just going to go straight into the episode. So what we're wanting to cover is basically go over some of the teams that basically all the teams that's been winning over the last couple of days. I'm not sure how the games are going tonight as far as the ones that haven't finished, but I guess I got to wait for Hugh so he'll know what I'm talking about because he has no notes for this. So I'm sorry about that.
I hear you.
I hope he's okay. You can hear me? Okay, so I'm going to go back to today's April 28th. So let's look at yesterday's games, April 27th. Quick rundown, but I might stop in between some of these games. The Thunder beat the Celtics. So right there, that's kind of like an oddball game. I'm going to throw that one out as far as topic of discussion because the Thunder, I guess we didn't want to keep our losing streak alive. But this, like I said, I just want to kind of throw out there as well that the Dirty Dozen, these are the games where the teams, if they're not serious already, then it's too late. And if they are serious, they're definitely grinding. So we're going to see some competitive games because of the standings on most points here, maybe except the last two games, just depending on who's locked in and what seeding. But up until that point, this is really a grind right here. So let's go to another game. Bucks beat the Hornets. Are you surprised there, Hugh? I haven't looked at the standings as far as where that placed anybody. It's probably about the same, but we know the Hornets was right there on the border, but they were in that mix of the play-in tournament, but they were like around like an 8th seed. But the Bucks, I guess they're holding steady in the top 3 right there with that win. But if they keep grinding out some wins, they might creep up to second or something, just depending on what Philly does. You want to touch anything on that game?
I mean, as expected.
Let's go to the Blazers. They beat the Pacers. The Blazers overtook the Pacers. The Blazers are doing what they need to do. They've been putting up points yesterday. Actually, they put up some points today. We'll jump into that game. The Blazers beat, who were they playing today, Hugh? They won, right?
I think so, yeah.
And they did win. So we're going to move on to the Nets beating the Raptors. So it looks like a trend here outside of that Thunder Celtics game. Like these winning teams that should be winning games, they're locked in. They're cleaning up. I mean, the Raptors, they're trying to make a push, trying to stay in that play-in loop there. But the Nets won another game, trying to stay up there on the top of the East. The Timberwolves, they beat the Rockets. Yeah, not a lot going on there from competitive standpoint because we know where both of those teams are. They're in the bottom of the West. But the Timberwolves, who you had mentioned the other day, they've been winning some games, man.
Bro.
Anthony Towns, bro.
Shout out to Minnesota, bro. They beat Utah back-to-back nights. And so, I mean, you can expect them to beat Houston. But I mean, yeah, bro, if Utah was playing like, if Minnesota was playing like this, we'd be talking about them in the playoff hunt. But yeah, I mean, too
So let's
too
talk
little, too
about that
late. But
right now. Let's take a brief pause on what we're talking about and discuss that. Like, bro, it's almost like a what if here, man. If the Timberwolves were healthy, could we have seen them in the mix of things, in that play-in tournament as far as being close enough to get in there this time of the year if it wasn't for Karl Anthony Towns with COVID, if it wasn't for D'Angelo Russell with his injury? Like, you think they'd be in the
yeah,
mix?
yeah, 100%. I mean, the thing with Minnesota, I think they're a talented team. I mean, I'm huge on Karl Anthony. Like we did a thing with centers, and I think he was in my top few or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm very high on Karl Anthony. He gets hurt a lot, and yeah, he missed a while with COVID. But I mean, that was unfortunate. I like D'Angelo Russell, but I mean, he missed a good amount of time with injury, and I mean, Malik Beasley's balling this year, but he was suspended, and I think also he got hurt at some point this year. But yeah, I mean, if all their guys, if they had a little better luck with not getting COVID with Karl Anthony and injury history, the other guys getting a little banged up, I think they had a shot at least playing. I mean, that's a talented team in my opinion. They just had some unfortunate luck this season.
I mean, yeah, we're looking at, just what I can think of the players on the roster, like the main guys.
Anthony Edwards, I
like
forgot
you said.
about Anthony Edwards.
Oh, of course,
yeah.
man. Look, he's in the running for Rookie of the Year now, man. Maybe that's why LaMelo's on his way back potentially. But I mean, the dude's balling there. So you got a future piece right there. If you retain Karl Anthony Towns, if he's not wanting out, obviously you got your main star right there. You have D'Angelo Russell as a former All-Star, so a backup guy there that could help with the talent that's on the court. Ricky Rubio, if he stays, you got a veteran guy off the bench there. Then you have Malik Beasley, who's was having a career year outside of that suspension he had happened to him. And the collection of pieces, I think a lot of it's not the talent. It's just upper management, like we had talked before with your bud in one of the earlier podcasts. It's just from, the management. They need to figure out a way to work them into a proper system and be consistent. And, it starts from the top down, in my opinion, when it comes to that. But weren't the Timberwolves in the news because they were purchased, right?
Yeah.
The team was bought by another personnel, whoever. It was A-Rod in this group, right?
Yep.
So, A-Rod, I'm sure he's about winning because of, Major League Baseball. That's what he tried to do when he was playing a professional sport. So having a professional sports athlete, former professional sports athlete, control a professional sports team, this could be good or this could be bad. This could kind of be like the Michael Jordan situation with the Charlotte Bobcats. Hopefully not, because A-Rod, as far as I know, didn't play, obviously he didn't play like professional basketball, but he might have played basketball in the past. I don't know all about that. But just in general here, him having that mentality of winning and coming from a professional athlete standpoint, maybe he can understand the players more and see what they want or would like to have or what they need to keep them motivated and keep them gelled and consistent. Like this team right here, if they keep all the pieces, this could be like a developmental team in the comparison of another Western Conference team, which is the New Orleans Pelicans, of the own pieces that they have there and just finding the matching coach in the system to make that work. And I see the Timberwolves on that same track. Like, you've got some assets to work with. The talent is there. The guys are young, and you might need one or two more vets just to help backfill in some aspects as far as, how to go about yourself in the league, how to deal with games, how to deal with back-to-backs, just those minor things here and there. And this could be a serious play-in team next year. Somewhere sitting in the bottom between 7th and 12th there. Well, I guess to be in the play-in, you can't go below 10th. So, definitely in that seeding, if they still have that 7th through 10th, like, they could definitely be in there. Karl Anthony Towns is a big name. He's a major player there in the Western Conference. I mean, he didn't make the All-Star team this year, but he's an All-Star caliber player for sure.
Yeah. I'd hate to match up, with a healthy Karl Anthony and D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Malik Beasley. I mean, that's a team with a lot of potential.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, jumping back into this list, they, what you said, they beat the Utah Jazz, which was shocking, and we're just not getting to talk about that. Back-to-back games, but them beating the Rockets. What are the Rockets this year? Just an update plug. John Wall, like you say, he's out the rest of the season. Nothing much to expect from the Rockets from here on out. I mean, it's just went all downhill for the Rockets. We're going to have to talk about that in another podcast. So anything else you want to touch on with the Timberwolves in that short break that we just took?
Shout out Moose.
Yeah, shout out Moose, bro. I feel for you. Hopefully next year will be a decent year. Should be a playoff year. Hopefully. It looks like it could be, but West is tough, like some overcooked steak. Let's go to one other game. I guess the last game that was listed yesterday's slate was the Mavericks beating the Warriors. I'm sure you had a piece of that. You got a piece of mine you would like to give us on that game.
Yeah, Luka went off. Couldn't stop him.
I mean, is this what they should be doing? Is this what Dallas should be doing? They're higher up than the Warriors, but at the same time, the Warriors need to win too to stay in that loop.
Yeah, I would just mean that last game. Yeah, I was watching it, and yeah, just this Luka couldn't be stopped. I think he had 37, maybe something like that. Curry had 28, so he didn't get to 30. But I mean, it was just one of them games he wasn't hitting all his shots, and he could have used some help, and no one really around him stepped up. Draymond facilitated as usual, but he scored 0 points. Wiggins and Oubre. I think Wiggins had 18, maybe 15, something like that. And I think Oubre might have had like 10. I don't think Oubre played very well. So just one of them games, not everybody stepped up where you needed them. And Dallas, even without Porzingis, who's out right now with injury, Luka was able to step up, and I think Tim Hardaway had a good game too. But just the guys that needed to step up for them did, and the guys who needed to step up for the Warriors didn't. And yeah, I mean, if Dallas, they want to continue running wherever they're right now, where are they at? Sixth, I think, in the West currently, I think.
Yeah, they were
weren't they sixth?
Last time we talked about it, yeah, they were right outside the play-in tournament.
So yeah, if they're trying to hold out and not have to participate in the play-in, then they need to win those games, especially games that they should. I hate to say it, but their record shows that they're a better team than the Warriors. So I mean, definitely the games that they should. But I mean, that's the thing with Dallas; they're so inconsistent. They'll beat the Warriors. They'll beat the Clippers a game, or the Suns a game, and then they'll turn around and lose to a team that's outside of the play-in. So they're just extremely inconsistent. But I mean, yeah, for one game, it looks like they did what they should have done and had a good team win. Hopefully, they can build on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like you said, you hit the nail on the head there. There's nothing else about it. The Mavericks need definitely win the easies. I'm not sure what the rest of their schedule is looking like, but they need to take care of business and keep riding the win streak there or whatever they have going on, because they're basically where they need to be. I'm kind of hoping that it stays put with them playing potentially the Clippers in the first round of the West, just because of where, the bubble was last year. They met each other in the playoffs. I want to see that happen again. Hugh, you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to correct. I think aren't they seventh? Because isn't Portland sixth, right?
Did it change? Because the last time we talked, they were, 2 days ago, they were sixth because the Clippers were in third, and that would have been that matchup there, I believe.
Oh yeah, Clippers
six.
third. Clippers third.
Denver fourth.
Denver fourth. Fifth is the Lakers. I thought six wasn't Portland. Six was Denver. I mean, Dallas. They switched.
Was Portland like a week
well,
and a half ago.
Well, Portland won yesterday and today. So I mean, I didn't look today.
I didn't look today either. So
okay.
It's probably either even
6
or
7.
The Dallas Mavericks price. They would have the edge either way, I think. So
okay.
Let's just say Dallas is in 6 because they probably are.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that was yesterday's slate of games. But like you said, the Warriors, you also need to win some games if you want to stay locked in the playoffs. But I think it's a bigger objective, if that makes any sense, to the Dallas Mavericks, just because of matchup purposes. I feel like they can get something going against the Clippers. The Clippers are going to be out there trying to grind their wins to stay where they're at, if not move higher. But and also when it comes time to the playoffs, you can't live up to the same standard of what you had last year. You need to definitely climb higher and obviously make it out of the first round to not be laughed at. But Luka's no joke, and if the Dallas Mavericks can show some consistency, then they shouldn't be looked at as a joke as a whole team. But like you said, they definitely got to clean up those easy wins and finish the season strong. Maybe take a game off for Luka in the very last game if the seeding is already locked in.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing that worries me with Luka. I mean, he does a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point maybe injuries start to catch up with him, because I feel like he just does everything for that team. But
he does do everything. But I mean, James Harden does a lot, and he doesn't really have any serious injuries.
Look at him right now.
I mean, yeah, right now, but that's not really a serious injury. Like, I mean, it's an injury that keeps him out, no different than LeBron James with his injury, but it's not, in my opinion, a serious injury. It's not
I
the
feel you.
extreme of obviously missing half or most of the season or all of a season injury, ending injury. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah, I get
mean,
what you're saying. I mean, yeah, hopefully they can get themselves in good enough position where Luka can sit a game or two at the end and just
yeah, yeah, just
rest a little bit, and they should be all right.
yeah. I mean, because when you're talking the West, even if the seeding does change slightly, or if they have to play in the play-in tournament, that's an extra game there just to make it into the playoffs. So you just have to, you know, keep track of your body, keep track of your players, and manage that. Once again, this could be one of those managing issues when it comes down the stretch, as far as doing the right thing to preserve your players for the playoffs. But obviously, as of right now, they got to keep winning these games because it's just so tight in the West. I mean, it's actually tight on both ends, on the West and the East, just because of the play-in style now. You know, some teams are on the border of making it, some teams are on the border of not making it, as far as either not making the playoffs completely or just being above in sixth or fifth place because they wouldn't have to play in the play-in tournament. So let's go to today's slate of games. April 28th, the Magic beat the Cavs. I mean, not a lot to talk about there. The Cavs looking like a play-in team. I don't think they were. And then we know
Nah,
the deal with the Magic. The Magic is just kind of experimenting, probably with different lineups, seeing what players they can use. Shout out, if I'm saying it right, Okiki.
yeah, that's his name.
You know who he is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had him in
You know,
fantasy for a
he's
while.
he's out there balling for the Magic. You know, that could be a player that might be somebody you should look out for next year with this roster. You know, they're going to be looking for some form of an all-star caliber player as far as within the team, not necessarily meaning that they're going to have an all-star caliber player compared to the rest of the league, but they're going to be looking for a defined leader. I mean, signs point towards it being Cole Anthony, but you know, he might not be the only one, or he might be competing for who's going to be the face of the team going forward as far as the more talented player. But I mean, obviously Cole Anthony Town has more of a name to his game and everything, and he missed some time of the season. So next season, if he's healthy in the off season, he can gain some strength and add to his game. And yeah, it'll just be interesting to see what other pieces the Magic could do. And then the Cavs, you know, I think Sexton was out with a concussion for this game and the last game or so. And, you know, they got some pieces there they can build. But, bro, what about Kevin Love, man? Did you see that about Kevin Love?
What about him?
Bro, I watched something. I guess, where did they go, back to back? So I think I saw it earlier today from yesterday's game or the last game that they played. Like, I guess he was frustrated. Whoever they were playing, like, they had, like, a layup on him or something. And he just, like, gently bounced the ball in bounds. Like, he got the ball, stepped out of bounds, like, just basically handed the ball over almost to the other team. And they took the ball, shot the three, and he was just like, it's like he didn't care. Like, it's just clearly a frustration on the court. I didn't know if you
Yeah,
saw
he
that or
should.
not.
Yeah, he should ask for a trade.
I think it's past due. I mean, the Cavaliers don't really need him there for what they're trying to do, but it might be a hard sell. We're going to get into that
Yeah.
later on. We'll get into that in another episode within the next week or so to round out the end of the regular season. But yeah, let's go to the 76ers beat the Hawks. So is that something like
Whooped
obviously
them.
you would expect them to
Whooped
do?
them.
Because go ahead, say your
They
piece.
no, I was just saying they whooped them. They didn't just beat them. They whooped them by like what 40. And
And
Ben
who
Simmons played what I say 16 minutes. I mean, yeah,
16 minutes, because you gave me his
that's
stat line.
basically
And I was like,
that's
what?
basically a
You're like,
day off.
16 minutes. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what
I
you
mean it's
do
basically a day
sometimes
off.
when you
I'm
put
disappointed
out
in
a team
Atlanta.
like that.
I'm disappointed in Atlanta not being that competitive. I think Trey Young's still out, but I mean, still,
Yeah, Trey
they
Young's
got
still out.
guys
So
and they're right there in the middle of the East. You know that's a good game. You know, you're not necessarily expected to win, but at least put up a fight. I mean, show you got what it takes, and they just got rolled over. I don't know what
I mean, look
Embiid
for
or Tobias put up, but I mean, somebody had to go off for them to win that much. So, but yeah, I
for
mean,
the
just
Hawks to be in the
disappointed in
play.
Atlanta.
I mean, Trey Young might not be ready for the next game. They're saying maybe by the end of the week. Same thing with DeAndre Hunter, but how much time can we expect from that guy because he's been out for so long? You
They
know, if you
need
have
him.
any hopes, obviously, of making it past the first round of the playoffs, you're going to need him back, but you're going to need him to, you know, kind of get reacclimated a little bit, but you're going to need him not to obviously re-aggravate any injury because you're going to need all the depth you can there. But yeah, it's rough stretch right now because who do you use as your primary leader when Trae Young's not there.
Bogdanovich was playing good. He must have not played very
I
well
mean, he's
tonight.
a great shooter and a scorer at times. I mean, he did the same thing with the Sacramento Kings last year, and that's why different teams wanted him in the offseason, but he's not a main focus type of guy. I mean, it's just
Gallinari's been playing good.
and Gallinari's another guy with playoff experience from the Thunder and from the Clippers. But again, who is your go-to guy?
I don't know.
Who's the guy? I mean, Lou Williams, another guy who can perform on an offensive level, but he didn't help step up for the Clippers last year when they had their meltdown. Some of these guys can just score, but you need that main facilitator and you need that main guy that guy that's tough under pressure and that guy that directs traffic. I mean, basically what you said, you're listing a bunch of players out there that are good from an offensive standpoint, from a skill standpoint, but you can't have cars run into each other. You need that officer out there directing traffic when the lights aren't working. I'm gonna go with that pun. I like that analogy right there. The lights aren't working in Atlanta, and you need an officer to direct traffic.
That's fair. I like that.
So let's go on, dude, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, the
I already know what
Wizards,
you're gonna say.
man.
Oh no,
The
no.
Wizards. Well, what were you thinking?
No, sorry. Another game today.
The Wizards beat the Lakers, man.
Bro, that ain't a shot. Get the Lakers out of here.
Hey, man, I'm not saying it in that way because obviously LeBron's not playing, but I'm saying it in the way that, bro, the Wizards, it's not just the fact that they beat the Lakers, but they won another game. They won another game. You said yourself, hey, get back in the camera.
They one of the hottest teams in basketball right now, bro.
Huh?
They one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at, bro. The Wizards, man. The Wizards, they're on this incredible streak of games that this last month, the Wizards have become the Wizards I thought they were going to be when they got Russell Westbrook, and the Wizards that I doubted they could be when the second half started. Like they've turned it around, and we just talked about that. Hopefully they can keep this going, and in the play-ins or the playoff tournament, they keep going and they make the right decisions and make the right plays. I mean, I think Russ shot a pretty good percentage. Like you said, he had another triple-double. I mean, when you can get players involved and some of the younger pieces like Rory Hachimura, when they're playing at a great level. I mean, Anthony Davis, he played. I mean, yeah, he's not up to par on his regular dose of minutes and he's performing because he's getting reaccustomed. But dude, bro, he had I think he played 26 minutes. Andre Drummond put up a double-double like his old self. So, for some of those younger players like Rory Hachimura playing, in the forward positions, I'm sure that was a tough matchup for him. But that's just something like the Wizards are doing great down this stretch of games. I mean, with a dozen games left, like I said, once again, I don't know their schedule, but they're taking care of business, man. And yeah, like you said, get the Lakers out of here. But because would you consider this a team that the Wizards should have beat?
Yeah, right now the way the Wizards have been playing, how hot they are, and with the Lakers
that's what I'm getting at.
They're
doing what they need to do. They're doing their job and take care of business.
Yeah, all I really got to say about this is I wish we could have seen this Wizards team all year. Because I mean, honestly, if they played like this all year, this consistent, this good, this efficient, I really think honestly they could be fourth in the East right now. If they've been playing like this all year, I don't see them higher than that, but I really think they could be up to fourth.
Bro, you know who said it best? Better late than never. Never late is better. But yeah, you'd rather see this happen now than at the beginning of the season, and then it goes in reverse. Like I said,
that's true.
Sometimes it takes some time to get the whole team on the same level of playing style and the confidence up. But if this is what they got carrying into the postseason as far as consistency, that this is the time to do it. Is now. It's now because they're right there and making the play-in tournament, and then going from there, they should have the momentum to win those games that they need to win if they don't go any higher in the standings. But I mean, they could potentially be in the 8th spot. I mean, they're just with everything that's going on between injuries with the Hawks and stuff like that, or if the Charlotte Hornets are playing inconsistent, then the Wizards, they could be climbing, bro. Like the Wizards is no joke right now. And like I said, I would like to see them in the first round play the Nets because I think they could stretch the Nets out to 6 games, bro. And I would just love to see that intensity. Even if it's a blowout, it doesn't matter. It's Russ, bro. It's Russ against his former teammates. Like, he just played with James Harden a season ago, and he won it out. And Kevin Durant, we know what happened there. Like, we don't even have to talk about that. We just say Kevin Durant and Russ. And everybody's like, yeah, we know. Like, I want to see this. And the Wizards are giving me what I want to see. And shout out to OKC, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if, I think it's looking like pretty much a lock now that the Wizards, hopefully I'm not jinxing them, but that the Wizards are going to make at least the play-in or the play-in. But I mean, even let's say they lose in the play-in or they get the A seed and, get swept first round or lose bad first round, I still think that you should be extremely optimistic and happy with the way the season turned out for Washington. They look to be, like the first half of the year, pretty much a laughing stock of the league, and a team with that much talent that wasn't succeeding, and like you said, they really turned it around. So I mean, even if they lose in the play-in tournament, I still think if you're a fan of
I
Washington,
would have
or
to
you still
say
be
on what you're saying that if they lost in the tournament, it might put them in the gray area, because like what you were saying, like, the consistency of not doing this all year. They do have great momentum, so it makes you think like, okay, we can keep this together. But at the same time, it kind of rains on your parade a little bit when you don't win those single elimination games. Now, if they do make it past the play-in tournament and they become an official playoff team, the 8th seed, or even if they become the 7th somehow, but they would have to, at least be 8th by the end of the regular season. But if they actually make the playoffs, then I would say that is very optimistic. Like, you definitely know what you have, and you can build off that because you've had some injuries to some of your key players. But I think making it to the play-in team and not winning would kind of, like, if you definitely lose that first game, like you have to win 2 games if you're 9th or 10th to make it into the playoffs at 8th. I think it's a gray area. Now, obviously, if they don't make it at all, then it almost seems like a bust. Even though there's high momentum, like something's gone wrong again, and they got out of the playoffs because they haven't been looking like a playoff team regularly this season. So I would say for me, that's how I feel about it. So kind of close to what you're saying, but I don't know. They might feel like they need to shake something up as far as how that organization is ran if, they lose in the play-in.
fair enough.
Okay, Hugh, let's look at the Celtics beat the Hawks. So I think I just mentioned that again when we were talking about the Hawks. So they took back-to-back losses, like you were saying, like no Trae Young there. So the Celtics, they're needing to win games too because of their record and where they're standing. I don't know where that puts them, but that's another team down the stretch. They got to win some games here because they were looking like they were slipping about a month ago. From recall us talking about them in the podcast. Like, man, where are they going to end up at? They're going to be like 8th spot. So maybe these guys are getting something going. I think Marcus Smart did get suspended from this game because of some words he said in the last game. So for them to win without him, even though it's a depleted Hawks team, that's still encouraging based off where they were.
Him and Kimba too.
Ago.
Kimba was out
and
too.
Kimba, yeah, because they. I don't know. I can't remember why he was out. I know he doesn't play back-to-back games.
He's hurt.
I think he missed both games.
He's hurt. Yeah, he missed both games.
Always...
Yeah, something's wrong with him. I mean, I think he's more day-to-day than out. So I mean, nothing to worry about there. But yeah, I saw Tatum had 35 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. So he balled, and then I saw Jaylen Brown had 38, I believe. So yeah, the guys for Boston needed to step up, and they did. So yeah, should be optimistic. At least they're playing better ball now than they were.
Where's Evan Fournier, bro?
Bro, dude's trash, bro. I picked him up on my fantasy team and played him, not today, but the game before, and the dude had like 2 points in like 30 minutes. I'm like, get out of here, bro. He ain't doing it. I don't think he scored double digits once since being there. I mean, maybe once, but I mean, the dude, he's like a non-factor. Give me like Pritchard over him any day of the week.
Bro, that is terrible that they did all that and just ended up with him in the trade deadline. I mean, we talked about this before. Even if they're making the playoffs and they're looking like a different team, when it comes to the actual playoffs, not having a great quality big, it's gonna, I don't know.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I don't know how they match up against Philly. I don't think they stand a chance.
I like what's his name, Robert Williams III. Like, I think he's got some talent there and he's got some potential, but I mean, not this year. It's not going to be
Yeah.
enough. Not in
Well,
the
he just
play-in.
came back. He just came back today from injury. He's been out till today.
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson did put up a double-double today, though. So, yeah, probably his best game
I
of
mean,
the year.
that's a veteran there that'll give you your playoff experience, but he would have been best to have another. It would have been best if they had Nikola Vucevic. Which, speaking of the Bulls, they lost today against the Knicks. I mean, Zach LaVine's out for health concerns. So, I mean, the Bulls are just not looking like they're going to make the play-in tournament. I mean, it's just, I don't know if it's like not enough time for them to get adjusted to having Vucevic on the team, or they're just thought that it was going to be a different outcome. I mean, some of this is a developmental issue, in my opinion. Like, I thought Kobe White was going to be more productive this year and more of a breakout candidate, but it came up short for me this season. And I just don't think it's not there yet this season. Like, this is going to be another failure for Zach LaVine as far as playoff hopes, in my opinion. I mean, there's still some time. Anything can happen, but it's not looking good for the Bulls, bro. Like, it was looking good like a month and a half ago when the Celtics were on the downfall. They looked like they were up on their eyes, but, bro, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Yeah,
But
I have to agree
who
with you.
is looking good, though?
Who?
The New York Knicks.
Oh boy, let me say what I have to say about Chicago first. I know you go get into New York. Yeah, Chicago. I mean, it was looking good for them, like you said, for a while. But I don't think there could have been a worse time for Zach LaVine to have to enter the league's health and safety protocols. I mean, just crunch time. Like you said, right now it's like crunch time. All these teams going, and your main guy's out. So I don't think it could have happened at a worse time. Just unfortunate. I think with LaVine playing, they'd probably be winning at least a few of these games, and we might be talking about they still have a chance. But yeah, I mean, especially now, I do know LaVine. They were talking about him missing 7 to 10 days, and I do know that they said that he's out this whole road trip, but the road trip ended tonight. So I mean, I guess there's probably a good chance that he returns whenever they play again, maybe Friday. Of him coming back, but I mean, still maybe a little too late with Washington. How good they're playing right now. I see Chicago as like the odd team out that had chances, but just an unfortunate timing with Zach LaVine getting COVID or being around somebody with COVID, and then just everything that happened with him, just unfortunate.
Yeah, bro. I mean, yeah, it's just it's not looking good for the Bulls. The Bulls are just like terribly jinxed as a franchise.
Yep.
I don't know how I explain it. If you look at it, from the bigger picture, it's just been like that for the last 2 decades. So
yeah.
Hey, but the Knicks, bro, you got something you want to say about the Knicks,
bro? Bro,
no,
Knicks are hot.
Go with my Knicks.
I
mean, why are you hating on the Knicks? Are you hating on the Knicks just because you're rooting for
I ain't hating on the
Brooklyn?
Knicks. I
No,
just
tell me right now.
I know how
tell
happy
me right
you
now.
are. I'm not
why
hating
you
on the Knicks.
like
I just
you
know how
acting
happy.
like me saying, "Oh, the Knicks are good" is like the worst thing ever.
No,
like,
bro.
what did the Knicks
You just been talking a lot
what
about
did
the
they
Knicks.
do to you?
Nothing.
Because they're good. They deserve the respect,
they're a good
bro.
team.
Have you ever been to New York?
No. Yeah, I've drove through it. I've never been
No,
in
it's
it.
not
Like
the same.
went in it. I drove through New York
Not
City.
the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, yeah, it's someplace
it really is different there.
I'd like to go, but no, yeah, nothing wrong with New York.
Next time we go, you got to go.
They're probably the biggest. Okay, yeah, they're probably the biggest surprise in the NBA this season. So I mean, yeah,
give them their props. Julius Randle is an all-star this year, surprisingly for us, because we didn't talk about that before. Even before we had the podcast, and he's keeping that level of play up. Like it's the Knicks. When you started watching basketball, what did you know about the Knicks?
That's Stephen A. liked them and he was sad every year.
Yeah, because they were trash. So, like, straight up, even the New York Knicks fans they're trash. They know. They're honest about that. Like, this is trash, bro. Like, it wasn't no Philadelphia 76ers thing of trusting the process and watching the team tank. Like, they were just straight up trash. You got to give them props, bro. I mean, you talk about Curry and the Warriors being underdogs and winning games. Dude, the Knicks, bro. Like, there's another team in New York City that's, the Brooklyn Nets, but the Knicks, bro, they're doing what they're overachieving in a way. I mean, nobody saw this. They're overachieving. The Nets are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that's why it's such a big deal. You got to compare the two. It's the same city, bro. It's no different than last year's narrative. We're comparing the Clippers with the Lakers. You might be rooting for one over the other. It doesn't matter. It's a narrative. You have to talk about it because they coexist. And if they're both doing good, then they're both doing good. And that's what's happening. The Knicks and the Nets are both doing good. It's not like I'm talking about the Detroit Pistons over here, Hugh, and poor man's Tatum and Jeremy Grant. You're acting like I'm doing that. Get back in the camera.
Bro, I'm sorry. It just cut on the Wizards Lakers highlights, and what's his last name? Roy, what is it? Hachimura? Hachimura, bro. He just had a nasty dunk right on AD. Sorry, I was just in awe of that
I
dunk.
heard
Like
about that
AD
dunk,
fell
but
to
I
the
didn't watch
ground.
the
AD
highlight
fell to
before the
the
game.
ground, like covering his head. And he just, man, that was rough. Sorry. I was listening, but that dropped my jaw there. AD got posterized.
That's what I'm saying. The Wizards, man, the young guy. That's what I was telling you, bro. They're on to something, bro. They drinking the secret stuff. They got something in their water bottles.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I'm not hating on the Knicks. Yeah, for real. I don't want people to think that. Shout
You're
out to the Knicks.
salty.
No,
you look
they're
at the New
probably
York Knicks like you look at Jamal Murray.
Okay, here's what I will say.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to say something about the Knicks?
Hey,
Here's what
New
I think
York,
about the Knicks. A great team.
New York. Hey, if you're from New York, hey, this is the guy. Listen to this guy, and you ain't gonna like it. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, my thing with New York. So I mean, definitely they're fourth right now. So like who do we have them playing? Atlanta. If it froze, right? What we did on Monday, they'd be playing Atlanta, right? We had them winning that, but to make an actual deep push, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Eastern Conference Finals. I still probably say they're probably one piece away. So I mean, enjoy this, and maybe with the success this season, attract another all-star caliber player to pair with Julius Randle. And legitimately, I think they got a shot. So I'm not trying to rain on the parade this year. I just don't see them.
I think you are
going in on one of the top three teams.
I think we kind of all know that, but yeah. I mean, I think you're raining.
I'm just saying my point.
You're not giving them
No,
enough
I'm not
props.
raining my
bro.
parade.
But you cheer up the Warriors, bro. Like Steph Curry's all of a sudden a first-year candidate for MVP. We know what Steph Curry is. Did we know this about Julius Randle? Yes or no? Did we know this about
Don't you dare
Randle?
bring up Steph Curry right now. We're gonna turn this to a debate
because
real
the Warriors
quick.
are sitting in like 10th place. What do you mean?
His fault.
You don't think the Knicks have as hard of a challenge, if not harder challenge, being in the East and being where they're at right now versus where the Warriors are at in the West?
Nope. West is stacked.
Okay, but the East, all these other teams that are below them, you think that, yeah, the Knicks should have been better than them to start the season. That's what you're saying. The Knicks look better than the Bulls. The Knicks look better than the
Warriors.
Hawks.
We're talking about the Warriors.
The Knicks look better than the Celtics. You said that at the beginning of the season.
No, bro.
But
I'm
you
not,
know what we
I'm
did?
Really, I know what I'm
you
saying,
probably
but I'm
thought?
really not raining on
But
the
you know what you probably
Shout out
thought? You probably thought the Warriors were better than the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
All right then.
No, the beginning of the season, I didn't even see the Knicks in the playoffs. So yeah, shout out the Knicks, bro. That's what I said. Biggest surprise of the year. I'm giving them the flowers.
It's not like they're barely making the playoffs, or they got to play in to play in the playoffs. They're in the middle. They're top four.
That's what I said, and I even have them winning first round. All I'm saying is going forward to build on this momentum, get another all-star caliber player, and challenge those top three teams. And right now, it's not going to happen. I'm just being honest.
Obviously, that's the thing.
So I'm giving them the flowers, but you want my opinion. That's what I'm telling you. My opinion.
You can't live in the present with them. Hey, we can live in the present with the Timberwolves beating Utah back to back and winning another game. Bro, but we can celebrate the Timberwolves winning against Utah back to back and still not going to be a play-in team. But the Knicks are in fourth place in the East.
Giving them
fourth. I don't care who else is in the East.
They going dumb with it. They balling. Julius Randle's a monster. I ain't saying nothing about it. I'm just saying they're healthy.
You're not saying anything bad about it, but you're not saying anything good about it. They're doing this without Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, shout out the Knicks. They are playing amazing this year. But I'm talking about if they really want to be elite, if they really want to be mentioned from here on out, not 1 year fluke where they're up so high next year playing. If they want to continue this, if they want to keep this momentum going, if they want to keep their fans, hopes high, if they want to do that, go out, end this year strong, win your first round against Atlanta, if that's who you play, Boston, whoever it is, probably get knocked out, in my opinion, second round, which is okay. You still exceeded everybody's expectations. Carry that momentum. You showed the league what you got. Pick up another all-star caliber player.
Did you hear the other day?
Teams.
Did you hear the other day what Stephen A. was saying? I mean, I know some of it's kind of like you got to filter through, but he was saying something about how he feels like Kevin Durant will regret choosing the Nets over the Knicks.
If they don't win the finals, yeah, I saw that. I don't believe it.
I mean, look at what the Knicks had. They could have just added them to the roster technically.
Yeah, with Kevin Durant there, no. Like, see, with a play, that's what I'm saying. Like an all-star caliber player, not even Kevin Durant. Like,
All
I'm
right,
saying
watch this,
a
bro.
guy like a guy all-star caliber, like
I
a
was saving
D'Angelo
this.
Russell, like Zach LaVine, like one of those type of guys. I mean, and they
All right, look,
be there.
listen. I was saving this for the future for like maybe the off season or something like that. But like, I want to go ahead and touch on it. Like, what if the Celtics don't need Kemba Walker anymore? Like, they decide to move on from him. He goes there, and then they add another piece. Or let's say the Wizards thing doesn't work out, and Russell Westbrook goes to the Knicks. Like, the Knicks are on the map now. So you're talking about adding a piece, and it could easily be added. What if the Phoenix Suns get knocked out the first round somehow, and it just blows up, and Chris Paul wants to go to the Knicks? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
What you're saying is like legitimately can come true.
Yeah, that's what.
What
I,
if the
that's
Knicks
what I'm
trade
saying.
for Karl Anthony Towns?
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. That's what they need to do. I'm not saying these wild expectations. That's what they need to do.
I know, but I feel
Any
like
of those
that
guys,
it's too.
Kemba, Zach LaVine, any all-star caliber player, in my opinion, any all-star
I
caliber player.
understand, but I feel like you're not giving them enough credit right now. Like right now, I feel like the Nets are one piece away. How about that? I feel like they're one piece away.
Yeah, and you capping heavy.
What do you mean I'm capping heavy? They're always one piece away. How many games has the Big Three played together? 7 out of how many
games? The healthy
games
Warriors.
that's been played so far? 60 games.
One piece away. The Lakers last year, one piece away. I mean, you could say it about any team you want.
That's what I'm getting at. So celebrate what they got now.
I am. I'm just saying going forward. I gave my opinion about going forward, what they need to do to stay relevant. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, man. New York fans, put in the comments.
What do you think Julius Randle will do? Let's say the next 2 years they don't go out, they don't get another all-star player. Julius Randle will say, "Man, the hell with this," and he go leave. So I'm just saying
he might not. It's New York.
Shout out Julius Randle. Shout out the Knicks. Derrick Rose quickly. Robinson, he's out. Shout out all those guys. But I'm just saying.
What about my boy? What about my boy?
You dude RJ. Shout them all out. But yeah,
thank you, man. Give them
shout
props.
out the Knicks, bro. They deserve it.
Man,
no one expected them to be where they were.
You watch next year. If the Knicks keep this momentum up, you watch, bro. We might be talking about RJ being an all-star next year. I said this last year about Jalen Rose. I feel like next year is going to be RJ's turn. He's going to be the next guy to watch off.
Who's Jalen Rose?
Jalen Brown.
You said Rose.
Well, my bad. Jalen Rose is a former NBA player. He's an ESPN analyst.
I don't know who he is.
Anyway, you know what I mean.
You get worked up, your speech starts to slur like you've been drinking.
I don't drink.
Yesterday you said Steve Kerr when talking about Steve Nash.
Okay.
So you get worked up and your mind just starts running around. I get you. I get around. This should have been a debate episode. We need to have a debate on this.
It's a debate right now. If you want to go,
Man, the Knicks ain't even the best team in New York. Get out of here. All right, go on.
Oh no, we're not ending on that, bro. Bro, the Knicks are the best
I just said
team.
it. Okay, then playing that as a debate. We'll do a debate.
You gotta back that up. You're just looking at the record. All right,
they have a first-time All-Star in Julius Randle.
Whoa, you saying right now on any given night you're going to pay to go see the Nets? Would you take your chance on that, or however much the Nets cost versus the Knicks on any given night? You're taking the Nets.
Yeah, with one of their three, I'll take them.
No, not any given night. Just one of the three, really. With whatever their ticket prices are, one of the three is good enough to vouch for that. Even though you're expecting all three, but one of the three.
Harris.
Oh, okay. That's enough said right there. I don't even think I got to say anything.
All right, go on to these next game. My AirPods about dead. Go on to the next game.
Hey, ain't my fault you burned them up. You burnt them up.
All right, go on to the next game.
Julius Randle's ears probably ringing. Bro.
Yeah, sorry. All right, go on to the next game. Let's move on. We spent a lot of time on that.
I feel like Michael Rappaport up in this.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, hey, to round out your thing today.
Heat versus Spurs. Heat beat the Spurs.
Well, that's good. Hey, to round out your thing today, the game just ended a little bit ago. Phoenix beat Clippers tonight. I don't know if you got the final because the game was still on.
No, we were getting to that, but thanks for plugging that in.
No, I was just saying.
We were getting to it, but yeah. Anything you want to say on the Heat versus the Spurs?
Nah. As expected, Heat needed to do something to stay relevant. I think they fell to 7th or something like that. So they needed to win.
This is basically what I'm getting at. most of the teams on here are winning the games they should be winning outside
Yeah.
of some of the tougher matchups.
Yeah, nothing
Like I
crazy.
said,
They did what they should have did.
I was going to get to the Clippers versus the Suns. That could have been a toss-up. That could have went either way, but obviously the Suns
Close game.
are the team
It's
with the
close.
better record. But that's a 2 seed versus 3 seed right there.
Yeah, it was like a
That's a
1-point
potential
game with like 2
second
minutes left. Like it
round.
got close. The Clippers were down big, more than 10, and they came back, like I said, with like 2 minutes left of the 1-point game. So yeah, it was a close game.
And see, this is crazy because Kawhi Leonard didn't play for them. But this is the difference between regular season play Paul George and playoff P.
Yeah, for real. I mean,
That's
he
gonna
balled.
be the
I
difference.
think he just had 20 some, but I think Booker had 20 some too. I think they both put up about the same amount of points. But it was close.
That's what you can ask. I mean,
Yeah,
we're gonna get on this when we get into the playoffs, right before the playoffs, like the X factors. But I mean, clearly the X factor, the biggest X factor for the Suns is Chris Paul. And whether he's having a good day or not, he just needs to be on the court for them. The X factor for the Clippers is going to be Paul George, whether he's regular season PG or playoff P. Like, there's two different players right there. I mean, it's just unfortunate that he has those times during the series, even when he played for us in OKC, where it's just sometimes he doesn't perform at a consistent level. And you see it in the regular season, you're like, man, this dude's freaking all-star level player, superstar. But then when it comes to playoffs, you're like, you don't even want to put superstar by the name of Paul George.
Yeah.
You sound disappointed.
No. Yeah. Just go on.
No, you are.
What else we got?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I was agreeing.
You agreed like you didn't really want to, though.
Sorry. Go on to the next game.
Ain't no next game. You give me the rest. That's all I have written down.
I don't know.
We started this. The other games
Utah,
were still going.
Utah and Sacramento played.
I know. They were still going when we did the last segment.
All I know is I know Utah won. I think it was like Utah. Listen to this. Utah put up 154 points.
Dude, they were blowing them out big halftime.
Yeah, I think it was like 154. I think maybe like 109, something like that. So yeah, I mean, shout out Sacramento. I mean, they had been playing decent here lately. They gave the Warriors, all they could handle a couple nights ago. I think they won. I think they won like two recently. So I mean, yeah, they were a team that some people were talking about, possibly sneaking into a play-in spot there in the West. But yeah, I mean, Utah, impressive. It said it tied their team record for most points in the game. And, they did that without Donovan Mitchell. So yeah, shout out. I think it said Clarkson stepped up and Bogdanovich. I think they both had like 25, something like that. So yeah, I mean, shout out Utah. I mean, like we expected, them to come and even without Donovan Mitchell, take care of the teams that they should beat. And it looks like the guys that needed to step up did. Clarkson off the bench.
You know what?
Well,
I ain't gonna lie. Somewhat of this team should be what the Hawks should develop into this year. They should have developed into a version of this team, because if you look at some of the pieces, if you compare, like with Jordan Clarkson or Bogdanovich or Joe Ingles, those players you mentioned earlier in the segment about the Hawks, Bogdanovich over there, Gallinari, and then throw in another role player, throw in Kevin Huerter. Like, these are some of the similar players as far as what they contribute to the team. It's just that Utah is better at it. Obviously they have slightly more talent overall, and then they have two all-star players, but that's the execution that the Atlanta Hawks need to have, and that chemistry and leadership and accountability they need to have. I mean, John Collins, that's a great player to have on your team. Clint Capella, he can't get rebounds like Rudy Gobert. I mean, we know he could get rebounds. He was putting up big numbers for fantasy players earlier in the season. We know that. It's just about structure sometimes, and not just all about the talent on the court. But you got to put the talent together and make it work.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, not too shocked with Utah. I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly worried about them. Like earlier this week and the end of last week, like when they lost those two to Minnesota. And I think they might have lost one more. And I'm like, man, what's going on with Utah? We ain't seen this, but hopefully this, it's a good win, good team win, big win. Not very often see blowouts that bad, but yeah, Sacramento, like I said, was a hot team. I think Buddy Hield put up upper 20s. So I mean, he was balling, but yeah, I mean, just a team that's first in the whole league, taking care of a team they should. But yeah, Utah hopefully finish the season strong. Take care of that number one spot and be ready for playoffs. Get Donovan Mitchell healthy. Rest Gobert a game or two towards the end. Get him some fresh legs under him, and yeah, I think Utah should be good. Just the other team doing what they should.
Yeah, I think one of the other teams that, or one of the other games I was playing right before we got on earlier, I think I saw that finished up was the Portland Trailblazers had beat the Memphis Grizzlies, and I know during halftime they were up pretty big on that. Similar to this Jazz game, I don't know the final. I can't remember the final. I think they won by like 20 something points, but I think the gap closed up because of just the end of the game. But yeah, the Portland Trailblazers once again. I guess that would be back-to-back wins, back-to-back days for them. They're taking care of business too. They're trying to catch up to the Lakers, bro. With every loss the Lakers are taking and every win the Portland Trailblazers are taking, they're looking to swap positions there for standings.
Yeah, for real. Shut up, Portland. Dame missed a few games injured, but he's back and balling, and yeah, Norman Powell balling for him. Things are looking good in Portland. Yeah, hoping to overpass the Lakers. I saw it today too. Speaking of the Lakers, I saw that Frank Vogel said that, I think it was today or yesterday or something, but he still said that LeBron is out indefinitely. He quoted actually said indefinitely. So I mean, yeah, if Portland, they're trying to make a run, now it's time to do it. Lakers losing today, Portland winning. I think they're only 2 games behind them, maybe something like that. So now, should be 1. So yeah, we don't, they might pass them before the weekend's over.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know
I'm not
the
buying
schedule,
that
but
stuff about LeBron. They're going to say what they need to say. LeBron's ready to come back whenever he wants to. He's keeping an eye.
Yeah, they need him. They're gonna need to.
LeBron, this is the thing you have to understand about LeBron. I know you don't really like him all that much. LeBron is a smart player on and off of the court. Like, you don't understand. Like, if he feels like he needs to come back, he will come back. At this point in his career, he knows what he needs to do, and he knows where he can afford the team to be at. Like, he's just that skilled of a veteran player on and off the court. Like, it's no joke. Like, he knows that, okay, if we're in 5th place, we have this much of a gap. We need to win this many games to stay where we're at. Or Portland's got this game on their schedule. They might take some losses here. Or as long as we're 6 and higher, that's fine. We can slip 1 spot. He's got an eye on everything, bro. Like, this is a very smart player, very intelligent being here that we're talking about. Like, there's nuances in the games that we just don't even understand LeBron's process and thought process of how he just remembers things and plays play by play on the court. That's what makes him a great player. It's not just skill. We see a lot of players with skill. There's something that has to put you over the edge to make you that much better than other players in the league.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, so I'm not buying the Frank Vogel thing. That's just something to keep the media from keep asking questions, because they'll give that same answer. Indefinitely means there's no definitive timetable. That doesn't have the same tag as when you hear other players that they got to get an MRI done because they possibly ruptured their Achilles indefinitely. Like, this is like literally LeBron might be back next week.
Yeah, sorry, AirPods died on me, but sorry about that. But yeah, hopefully you're right. The Lakers, I'm not huge on the Lakers, but they need LeBron. Especially if they reel. What did I say they were? 5th now. So especially if they fall down to 6th. And then I don't know.
Down 5th for a while.
Yeah,
I think that
they fall in Dallas. If Dallas and Portland are switching back and forth, they have to be right there too. The last thing you want to do with the Lakers is fall into 7th or 8th. That's the last thing. Lakers. So yeah, they need LeBron back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that is the last thing they want to do. So I'm sure they're keeping an eye on that, even though it doesn't look like a big gap in games. And, it doesn't to me. I'm sure they're well aware of situations and keeping track of that. Some reason they may manage to stay around 5th since LeBron's run out. Or were they in 4th before, maybe in 3rd when they had AD and LeBron? But not to be down to 7th place is actually kind of shocking for me. It's been a couple months now, right? Like going on 2 months. The All-Star game. AD was out before the All-Star game.
Yeah. I'm surprised too. I expected them to tumble more than they did, because that team is just so inconsistent. They have some guys on it, but it's just like Kuzma. We talked about him. 21 night, 5 the next night. One player that is extremely disappointing me this season that I expected to step up a lot for the Lakers is Montrezl Harrell. He's I don't think he's playing that well, and I don't think he's getting his minutes reduced because of it. I know one thing with Drummond coming in, but I think like I saw a couple games ago, the dude played like 15 minutes in a close game and only scored 2 points. I'm just like, yeah, man. I mean, I expected a lot more. We know what Harold did for the Clippers last year, so that's just one player I've been kind of disappointed.
Let me break this down to you once more because they're a championship caliber team. I think they know what they're doing there. Like, yeah, I don't know all their off-court issues, but the strategy behind that is for Davis and Drummond because they're going to see most likely the primary amount of time as front court mates there. So even though they might take a loss or Montrez isn't playing as many minutes, the goal is to get that acclimation there of Drummond and AD because that's ultimately the product they want on the court for most of the game when they come to playoff series. Now we know Montrez can play with AD. They've got some experience in the regular season, and him as a backup for Drummond or a backup for, I don't know if he'd back up AD and have him in with Drummond, but the purpose of that, in my opinion, is just so they can get that reacclimation. Like, yeah, you only play 15 minutes, but the bigger picture and the bigger purpose is for the playoffs. Like everything's geared to that. Like this team is built for playoffs, and I know I say that about different teams, and some teams do it different ways, but that's what they're doing here. So Montrezl Harrell is supposed to be that spark plug off the bench. So, and that might be where the Clippers went wrong. You ever see these teams that do so much in the offseason? I mean, in the regular season, and then when it comes to postseason, it's not enough. Like, i.e., the Rockets every year when they had James Harden. Like, you do it big in the regular season, and then what happened? It's because you do not test these things out in the regular season at the times that you can afford to do that. And yeah, it looks like the Lakers are desperate to have LeBron back because they don't want to slip. But there's a strategy to this. And that's why I factor that in with the Brooklyn Nets. Where is the strategy when it comes to playing those big three together? Your best strategy might be to play 2 at a time, like literally like 2 at a time, swap them in and out, because when it comes down to that experience of having all three on the court down the stretch in tight games, we haven't seen that, like hardly any. So that's one of the things. But yeah, not to dive too deep into that. I'm gonna get into that some more when we get into playoffs too. But you got anything else you want to add?
Nope.
That was it for that. Okay, well, thank y'all for kicking in the second half. This has been KISH YZ. This has been another podcast. If you're watching this video, give us a thumbs up, and please give us a subscribe if you haven't. Once again, this is Limb Loss Awareness Month, and for every subscriber we have at the end of this month of April, I'm donating $1 to the Limbs for Life Foundation at limbsforlife.org to support limb loss awareness on May 1st. Hugh, final words, bro?
Yeah, just appreciate all the support we continue to receive from our videos, the views, the likes, the new subs, as long as I don't even know what I was trying to say there. We appreciate the new followers, the new ones we're receiving, along with the OGs, the ones that have been here from the start. We appreciate each and every one of you. To the people that aren't subscribed, that are watching this video, give us a thumbs up. If you like the video, put in the comments something we missed, or maybe a team that you think differently than what we had to say about. But yeah, and if you want to see more of our videos, we do videos on shoes, and we do debates every now and then. We do PPFs, past, present, future on specific players. We do quite a few different segments, but if any of that sounds interesting, or you just want to check me and D out arguing some more, whatever the case may be, if you like our personalities, whatever, give me a sub. No tomatoes, no veggies, not a fan, but yeah, we appreciate all y'all. Continue cheering us on, like and sub. The more subs we see, the more views we see, the more likes we see, it pumps us up even more. We want to put out more content. We've kind of taken a slight break this week and last week, but I mean, before that, we were 6 days a week putting out content every day. So, I mean, we grinding for y'all. We trying to put out content. So let us know what y'all think. We love feedback, love comments. Even we had a dislike one time. I mean, we love it. I mean, at least we getting some feedback. So yeah, just continue to do that. If you don't like what we say, give us a thumbs down. Put in the comments why you didn't like it. I mean, we appreciate all that. But yeah, just like I said, appreciate all y'all, and continue just doing you and showing support for us.
Yeah, thanks, you. That was a great shout out. I appreciate you wrapping that up. And as well, catch us on Anchor.fm, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, and Spotify if you want the audio only versions of our podcast, and our PPFs are on there as well. And yeah, if you want to follow us, you can look for us on Twitter and Instagram under KISHYZ, KISH_YZ. And of course, come back here to YouTube under KISHYZ. And thank you for listening and watching. Peace and love, everybody.